Hello and welcome to Film Seizure. This is our third week in anniversary movies. Today we are bringing you the 1986 hit Top Gun, directed by Tony Scott and starring Tom Cruise. This is our second film with that duo and our third film of anniversary month. With me, as always, are Jason Oliver. Say hi, Jason Oliver.
Hey, yeah, how the hell did we do Days of Thunder before we did Top Gun? That's backward, but whatever.
Well, but Days of Thunder was 30 last year.
That's true. That's true.
And that was Jeff. That was Jeff Arbuckle.
Right. We should have come up with call names.
Yeah. See, we don't really prepare in advance.
No, we really don't.
No.
I think Jason, you can be Burninator or something.
I'll be Burninator. I like it.
I'll be I don't know. Rick McRibbinator.
McRibbinator. So
and then Chuck,
McRib season.
And Chuck is obviously Eat a Bagel.
Oh
yeah. Yep. I'm the Maverick of this group. So I'm second to Jason's Burninator, top in class flight stuff. And I don't know what Jeff is. Jeff
You could be my cream cheese anytime.
Yoinks.
Jeff is going to die halfway through the episode.
Yes. I mean, the McRibbining is on, so I will say that I will not even be able to fit into a sleek fighter jet by this time.
So you'll be like Tim Robbins at the end of the movie.
All bloated and fucking weird. Yeah.
Because there's no way that guy's fitting in a cockpit. I'm just sorry.
No, they had an extra bubble on the bubble.
That would be, totally. That would be like in a fucking Jerry Brucker, not Jerry Bruckheimer movie.
Right.
A Jerry Brucker?
Zucker. What? Oh my God. That's what I meant. I meant Zucker.
Hot Shots Part 2.
Oh my.
Yeah, so we're already off the rails on this. Yeah. But again, Top Gun, Tony Scott.
Are we in a tailspin?
We're in a tailspin. I don't know if we're going to pull out of this one.
We're in a flat spin. We flew into somebody's after stuff. I don't know. After stuff. Jet waves.
Jet gas. I don't know. They didn't do a good job of explaining what all that was. So I was in a tailspin right along with Maverick during that scene. Anyway.
Kelly McGillis just cornered me in an elevator and told me that she didn't want you guys to know that she was in love with me.
Oh,
yeah. Wow. So, I'm not surprised.
Which eye did she look at you with?
Oh, damn. That's
oh, my mean. God. What the fuck? What the hell is that? Yikes.
That's it.
Oh, boy. Well, we're not going to make it to episode 200.
Maybe not.
We're canceled now.
Canceled.
All right. Yeah, we've been canceled before, right? Well, you guys have. I never.
Oh, we have.
Yeah, we have. Our trick or treat episode, we definitely got canceled.
Stop bringing it up, or people need to go back and look.
All right, so let's focus on the mission at hand.
Yes.
We are tasked with talking about Top Gun.
We are.
Which, for me, I saw when I was a kid.
Me too.
Because my mother absolutely adores Tom Cruise. Still to this day. I think she lives near Tampa St. Pete just so she can be near his Scientology building.
Oh my God, that's weird.
She points to it. Every time we drive by it, my mom's like, Tom Cruise lives up there.
Oh my God.
It's kind of
my God.
Kind of funny and kind of weird.
I thought
draining his thetans.
I thought he lived in England.
He probably has a home in England too.
He's probably got a home in half the
He's got a series of mnemonic tubes that just take him from Scientology temple to Scientology temple. All
Tommy Mnemonic.
Tommy Mnemonic. I like that. I like that. Yep. That's a winner.
I don't think I saw. I know I saw this as a kid. I don't remember actually going to the work of sitting down and watching the movie until I was well into my teenage years. My mom liked Sylvester Stallone, so I got to see a lot of good Sylvester Stallone movies.
Yeah.
She liked the beefier guys. She probably thought Tom Cruise was some sort of a pussy.
A little bit of a twerp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which he is. He kind of is. he presents.
Oh, he's a
that way.
twerp in this movie.
Well, he's 4'11". I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, I have.
I'm surprised McGillis could look at him with either of her eyes.
I know. She can't look down that far.
I feel bad for saying that. Honestly, I didn't notice anything with her eyes, so that's interesting.
Yeah,
I have always kind of thought Kelly, what's her name, McGillis, looks a little derpy. I'm just gonna say that.
Kelly McGillicuddies.
Yeah, Kelly McGillicuddies. Anywho, I too saw this when I was a kid. This was the first movie I can remember where somebody like put their hands in front of my eyes because of the sex scene.
I mean, this is a PG rated movie.
I know, and it's a very pretty chaste sex scene, other than like weird lizard kissing.
I mean, there is some sensuality to the fact that this movie is littered with white shirts and blue jeans.
But it was what it was is the person I was with family. It was like my dad's side of the family. It was one of my aunts, and maybe she was just joking. I don't remember, but obviously they hadn't seen it, so they didn't know if there was going to be nudity, even though it was PG. That was kind of back in the days of the Wild West PG, you know?
That's fair.
So anyway, that's something memorable for me about this movie. But yeah, this is a goofy movie, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, so that was one thing I had mentioned to you guys when watching this, that this movie is mega dumb. But in good ways. Also, my very first note is also another good descriptor using the word mega. It's also mega gay. This movie is super homoerotic.
Yeah,
and I almost said homoerotic because that's what Homer called it once.
I have some things to talk about that because I really feel like a lot of that was perpetuated because of Quentin Tarantino's little monologue that he wrote in Sleep With Me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I've never seen that movie.
And it's kind of like reinforced, perpetuated that idea. I did actually watch it specifically with this in mind. Like, how homoerotic is this movie really? And honestly, it didn't really come off as much that way to me.
Let's put it this way. I would say it is not, I mean, to the exception of the volleyball scene where it's like very clearly, I mean, yes, it is giving something for the ladies who are being dragged to this movie by their boyfriends. However, it's still mostly guys watching this, and it's like I'm watching dudes flex with greased up muscles, and I'm not watching like a bodybuilder movie. I'm watching Top Gun, and these are pretty boys. These aren't German weightlifting guys who are like, it's like you can't look at them too long because you're afraid they might beat you up. Because you look at
I don't know. I would contest you on that though, because I think we watched this movie because of my mom. I think a lot of women went to see this because of Tom Cruise.
And it's a romance. It's very and there's a woman in a position of authority. I mean, this movie is honestly like it's for everyone.
Well, sure. I mean, but I would say that the primary, like, when you see the trailers for this, it is meant to stir Reagan era jingoistic, let's go watch these guys blow some shit up. And by the way, it's Tom Cruise, so you can bring your girlfriend or your wife or whatever, or your mom. I guess it could be that. It's like, hey mom, I want to go see Top Gun. And mom's like, yeah, okay. Not my mom, Chuck's mom. But right. my mom thinks he's a twerp. But anyway, so like, but still it is meant to be a male-centric driven box office.
Yeah, you're certainly not the only one. Obviously, Jason brought it up already. The little soliloquy or whatever you want to call it in Sleep With Me, Quentin Tarantino lays it out very convincingly. Like, if you haven't seen that movie, you should go Google that scene sometime. It's funny, and it's like, okay, I can see where he's getting this from. But I would personally be on the fence about whether that's any kind of aim with this movie at all.
Well, I don't know if it's the aim of the movie. What I really think of it as is, if it's not outwardly pretty gay in some spots, it is certainly that kind of closeted, like the guys on the football team grab assing in the shower kind of.
Totally. Totally.
Kind of, that just that like extra step of broing out, like we don't do that every time we get together to watch a movie. Sometimes.
Well, they are in the Navy. And
in the Navy.
Hey, if there's anything I learned from the Village People, being in the Navy is where it's at.
But I don't like slapping that kind of label though on it, or searching for the subtext, honestly, because I do believe that in a lot of the machoism of the 80s, there was a lot of latent homosexuality just dusted in there, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's not. We don't see that kind of like safe men allowing to love other men in ways that can be platonic, enough, to be quite honest.
Well,
I think that type of like sensitivity can be okay. Not that that's really overtly in this movie at all, but
any of the meanness in this movie from any character towards Maverick is really kind of constructive.
Yes,
there's
very constructive. He's not a villain,
right? No, there are no like negative things thrown at him just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Sure. I would say that this movie does try to play things from two angles, and this is something I'm sure we'll get into a lot more later, but like Tom Cruise is kind of playing, what's his name? Maverick. I mean, what's his real name? Pete something, right?
Who cares? It's Maverick.
Whatever, it's Maverick.
Yeah.
Who cares? That's his fucking name now, Maverick.
Yeah, every time they mention his name, it's confusing.
Right.
I'm
like, wait, who? Oh, Maverick.
Pete Mitchell.
Yeah.
Who's Pete Mitchell?
Right. It's like, that doesn't look like Pete Mitchell. That's Maverick. They do try to play this from multiple angles in his character. I think sometimes it does it well and sometimes not so well, where he is kind of this roguish, stunted child, while is also at times trying to be the hero.
He's a hot shot.
He's a hot shot, but it's like it's like
there's that Jerry Brucker again.
Well, I think that's why they named it the movie Hot Shots.
I know,
right?
Yeah.
Well, but it's kind of like, a couple of weeks ago we talked about Indiana Jones, and we talk about like Indiana Jones is a good guy, and there is what's the word I'm looking for? Nuance to his character into like Han Solo and stuff like that. Whereas this, it's like one scene he's he is being kind of impish in his behavior inside of a fucking jet that could kill everybody on the base if he fucks up, or he is this tender lover, or he is this nobody tells me how to be, and just stomps off. And it's like there's no nuance from one to the next.
Well, he's an adolescent. He's
like I said,
basically an adolescent. Yeah, he's stunted. I mean, he's exactly what an adolescent boy is usually like, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I even made notes about that, like when the whole thing where he gets dressed down by, I'm just gonna call her Killer McGillis. Oh, Charlie. Okay.
Yeah.
Charlie.
He pouts and he runs off and he revs his motorcycle. He's like, I can't hear you, and he drives off. It's like such a childish thing to do. Yeah, he's not really very likable, to be quite honest. His entire character, but he does have an arc, and I think that's what's important.
And it unfortunately it takes somebody dying to teach him a lesson, which is probably fair, but also it would be fair to say that he wouldn't be he wouldn't be long for the military doing some of the things he does. The fact that he even goes to the Top Gun thing seems wrong.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that, because there's an absolutely hilarious thing that happens in that scene that kills me. that is so totally 80s. And that is one question I wanted to ask you, Chuck. Have you shown this movie to your kids?
No, I have not.
Okay. Because I was curious. It's like, this is part of our lives. This is part of our generation. You know, these are
Right. So much of the lingo in this is still in the zeitgeist.
Sure.
You know? Yeah.
But
oh yeah, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
That line
Like,
lives
that was one that I heard though that I had forgot was even from this fucking movie.
Me too.
Right.
Me too.
Yeah.
But the other thing is like, I would be curious, like, I have a feeling it would be kind of spotty with kids today because it's.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
you.
Go ahead.
I was going to say my kids wouldn't take to this movie like we did.
Right.
I don't know if they'd like it or dislike it, but we are not, at least on my side of the family, we're not a militaristic kind of family. Right. We're not brought up in that kind of USA, rah-rah stuff.
We also don't live in a Cold War era anymore.
Exactly.
Right. That's an important fact. That's an important fact for sure.
Yeah, this is the era. This is the era that a trio of MiGs could be hiding behind any cloud in the sky.
Yes.
And you have to go and shoot those motherfuckers down.
The Reds could be anywhere. Yep.
It's like a laser tag in the sky.
I can see twice as high.
Laser tag in the sky. Wow, that was a reach, and I love it.
It had a harmony to it.
Jason's on a bit of a roll today. All right, so let's.
All right, so the way the movie kicks off, it is Maverick is on his ship. I don't give a shit what USS ship it is, but he's on his ship with the principal from Back to the Future.
Yes.
And he's.
Let's not forget that guy goes from this movie to Masters of the Universe next year.
Oh my. That's amazing. So he's on a mission. He's in the air with his partner Goose and another plane, and it's I forget his name. Cougar. Sweet, good recall, dude. And they get in an altercation with some MiGs.
Of course,
because they're just hanging out somewhere. And
they peek around the clouds, and then they say, "Here they come," and then they fly around real quick and try to do nefarious things.
Yeah, that's the funny thing too. Is like everything's kind of nondescript about like what area of the world things are happening in. It's like international waters, or like
this is in the Indian Ocean. That's just my. Oh, hey, guess what? I know what ship. I know what Maverick and Goose.
Is he on the Enterprise?
The USS Enterprise.
It's on the Enterprise. Yeah, of
course he is.
Of course. He is.
No, they are. I feel like they're probably in the Indian Ocean. I feel like this is still some lingering.
They might even have put it up on screen at one point, but I wasn't picking up.
I don't know, but I feel like it is still some lingering Afghanistan stuff.
Could be.
Fair enough.
It's Russians. You know that because they have a fucking red star and they fly MiGs, but they never actually say Russians, which is pretty interesting to me. But anywho, they get an altercation with some MiGs, and one of the MiGs drops in behind Cougar and is got him locked in and it could shoot him down at any second. And then Maverick flies in and he's able to kind of like intimidate them off by doing the same thing. And they just kind of like, they're toying with each other, right? No one is intending to fire, but they're taking it right up to the point where they could if they wanted to, right? And blow you out of the sky. So it's very high stakes kind of chess that's happening in the air.
There are multiple James Bond movies since the 90s that deal with these very close calls in international water.
It's a skirmish.
Off of China and stuff like that. Because nowadays it's like, oh, you got to watch out for China.
So what ends up happening is Cougar freaks out. He like has a panic attack and he's not able to fly the plane. Also, Maverick has left his wing to go fuck with the other MiG and like do this inverted thing where he flips him the bird and Goose takes a picture, and it becomes like an amazing plot point in the movie, which is phenomenal to me. And then it's like the goofiest thing in the world. Like I'm sure pilots roll their eyes at that shit all the time, right? And then but then Maverick is ordered to fly in and leave, which this doesn't make sense either. Why would he leave the guy who is having a panic attack?
Well, wasn't he about to run out of fuel? So it was going to be
it could have been
land or
two
crash
planes
the
go
plane.
down
Yeah.
instead of one. Yeah, okay. So they're playing the utilitarian game.
They also I
They
think
throw
make
around
a
$30
point-
million a lot
Yeah.
in this movie. Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's the by the way
the machinery is more valuable than your life. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's very military industrial complex of the 80s.
Yep.
Um,
USA.
so Maverick, he disobeys orders. He helps talk and kind of fly in Cougar. Cougar barely makes it, but he lands, and all seems to be well. Anybody want to take the next bit?
Well, I was going to say that they both are able to pull off a stunt that almost none of us could in the world of Nintendo, which was landing the airplane on the fucking aircraft.
Yeah, dude, even Cougar could do it, man.
Yeah, it's like, and I'm not freaking
He would have been a
out.
hero. He would have been a hero among my friends.
Yeah, it's like I'm not having a panic attack, and I still wrecked the fucking plane.
They also have the movie-long joke of the flyby on the tower.
Yes.
Yeah, but he hasn't done that yet, though. He doesn't
Well,
do
That's
that.
right here. He requests
No,
flyby
no,
here, doesn't he?
no. This is not a time for celebration. He doesn't request a flyby until he kills Jester.
Oh, yeah.
In the
Fair.
combat.
Fair.
Jester's dead. Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Yeehaw.
Now, but he has done a flyby, which has
But he has done it before.
right.
Yes.
So yeah, because at this point, this is when he gets when we find out that
that the pattern is full? No, we don't find that out.
so at this point, yeah. What's his face?
Cougar quits.
Cougar quits. Yeah, Anthony Edwards. No, that's
No.
Wait,
I don't know who played Cougar.
John Stockwell. He
Oh,
quits.
shit. That was John Stockwell.
Yeah, it was. So he decides to turn in his wings. He's done. He's at this point he's damaged goods as he sees it.
He's lost his
Right.
edge.
Right.
And he's like, he'd be a danger to others, probably. In his mind, he's probably right if he went back up. It's almost like a boxer who gets knocked out really badly for the first time. You're just never the same,
Right.
right? Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, this is an important, I mean, I think that this is a very, very key thing that has often been shown in military movies where it's like that guy is now a liability. He will get somebody else killed. And considering these Tomcats are two-seaters, that could be the guy in the back seat.
So my question is, can the
ROI.
guy in the back seat not take over control of the plane? That seems like a
doesn't-
design flaw, doesn't it?
It does not look like it from. I was wondering that too, but all that Goose had in front of him on their flight was a few instruments and the cockpit release. I never saw any kind of flight mechanism.
I
That doesn't
thought
mean
they
it's
were
not
just-
there, but
What
I
is
think
their
they're
actual
navigators.
purpose?
They're navigators, and they look out for
their
the
navigator. They're if you're sitting forward to fly, they're there to spot.
To spot?
Yeah.
They also, I think at one point, they're the ones that have the control of shutting down some of the engines, maybe. Because I think that Goose does that at one point, or somebody.
Somebody
I
shuts
mean-
down the right engine later.
Maybe
Yeah.
that was Iceman's partner.
It was.
He did
It
that.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always got the impression was that it's like Tom Cruise has to one fly a supersonic jet and shoot guns. He doesn't have a whole lot of time to think about the other stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if the guy behind him also releases the tail hook
Yeah.
when they
Oh, he
land.
might. Yeah, he might.
Because again, that's one more thing that the pilot
Yeah.
would have to do. That's
Those are all
super
really good
important.
points. Those are all really good points. I think this movie helps you kind of take for granted. Sorry, the amount of actual reaction to things that the pilot has to actually be responsible for, right?
Right. And that's why.
And he does kind of make that comment later. He's like, there's no time to think when he's
Right.
talking to Kelly McGillis, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
and
guy
that's why
behind
Cougar
you
quits,
thinking-
right?
Yeah.
Because his decision making is going to be a split second behind, if not longer.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, to bring up one of the words I'm supposed to drink for, it's foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Right.
For
Big
later
time.
in the movie.
Big time.
So this is okay.
It's the yips. It's the
Yeah,
high
the
stakes
yips.
jet flying version of the yips.
Yep.
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 Yep. So the so he's so Cougar's out when he was the top guy on the Enterprise. Captain Kirk has something to say about that.
right.
I don't know. Obviously, Captain Picard is running things because that guy was bald. So they are. So the next guys who come in are Maverick and Goose, and they think they're going to get chewed out for.
And they kind of do.
Well, hang on a second. Because I have a note here that is very important. But yeah, so they think they're going to get chewed out for saving a man, thinking that they've done the right thing. And they did, but it's like they could have very easily have run out of gas and crashed.
Didn't he
into
even
the ocean.
say that was a very brave thing you did out there. Hell of a risk with a $30 million plane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they get their dressing down. Now this cracks me up because the guy is talking about how Cougar was going to go to Top Gun. He was the number one pilot on the Enterprise. Commander Riker would have something to say about that. But then, because he just gave up his wings, now it's got to go to number 2, which is Maverick and Goose. Maverick would have been number 1 if not for 2 things. 1, he buzzed the tower. 2, he fucked the admiral's daughter. And so he's number 2, but now they're number 1 because by default, because if there's anything that you want to do that's all American is win by default.
Oh yeah.
But while he is just tearing apart the behavior of Maverick and Goose for being unruly, for being unmanageable, for being, for taking unnecessary risks. All the while underneath that, you hear Danger Zone playing. And it cracks me the fuck up because it's like, here's our hero song while he is just getting his ass chewed. And it's so funny because it's just, you can hear that riff underneath the whole time. It's like, and it's like, while he is just like, you suck, Maverick, you're terrible, you're an asshole, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, I don't know how to feel now. And it cracked me up so hard. Now, the next note happens almost immediately because all the while, so they're sent to California, and then they go to the bar, to the sailor bar.
Yeah.
Where Kelly McGillis is clearly meant to, I guess, be the oldest person in the bar.
No, but the person she meets is the oldest person in the bar. He's like an old man.
Okay.
They never explain who he is. He's like some old general or something.
Yeah, I don't know. But no.
I feel like she's not really meeting him. That's neither here nor there. I think she uses him as an excuse to get away from Maverick.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway,
I agree
ahead.
with that. And I have more to say about this perceived age difference here in a little bit. But so like all the while, like almost every line of this movie so far has been these terms that I don't think any normal human being ever says. Like, it's one of those types of movies where it's like, you know what I'm talking about. It's like,
it's scripted. It sounds scripted.
It sounds scripted, but it's like one of those things where it's like Top Gun, Days of Thunder, but I'll give that an asterisk because there is actually an end story reason why they start talking that way. But and then Backdraft is another good example where it's like, we're gonna bring you inside the world of Navy pilots, and you're going to learn all these terms that mean fucking nothing to you. But it means something, because they talk about it and they repeat the words and they look at each other and they nod and they say things. And it's like, well, this obviously means something. And yet I have no fucking clue what they're talking about.
It feels a little bit like they're trying to remain too true to the subject, or to, the Navy, or to what, like, someone who's been through it would watch it and be like, that's exactly what it's like. And it's like, well, I don't need that.
I don't need that, for one. And for two, I don't believe that's exactly what it's like. I think people can be tricked into thinking that's exactly what it was like. But,
you can use context clues for a lot of it, but ultimately, I think Chuck's right. It's getting sprinkled in there to make the movie feel more authentic. But the real stuff is the stuff that rises above that stuff. That is the emotional hits, the plot points, right?
Sure.
And immediately in that scene, there's a couple big things that are established that are very, very easily digested, right? It's that Maverick and Iceman are going to have a rivalry, and Maverick is into killing McGillis, right?
Right.
That's really all you need.
Yeah, but the scene is packed so full of all of these technical terms that don't mean anything, and it's like it's a pilot's bar. I mean, I think it's to lend it some authenticity. My favorite moment in that whole scene is when Iceman and Maverick first meet. And Iceman makes a comment about Iceman. Is it Arnie Iceman?
Ernest P.
Iceman. Mr. Val Kilmer, he says to Maverick, Cougar and I, sad to hear about Cougar. He and I were tight back in flight school. He was a good man. And Tom Cruise immediately says, still is a good man. And then no beat back, Val Kilmer says, yeah, that's what I meant. That is genius.
Yeah.
Like, that's everything about those two right there.
That's a good line. I don't know. I mean, okay. Sort of as kind of foreshadowing for as we close out this episode. So go ahead and start an MST3K ticker for me. This makes me think of the movie that was on Mystery Science Theater that's called Starfighters, where it is a movie about pilots, and it is told from a painfully pedantic way, and they're using these terms and these concepts and these ideas, even down to, what the suit is called when you land in the water and you have to float there? Do you know what it's called? It's the greatest thing in the world.
Float suit.
No, it's called a poopy suit. And they explain that to you, and they show you testing it out.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's so like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it didn't have to be this real. It didn't have to be this authentic for the layman. But anyway, no, it's just one of those things where it's like, and like I said, Days of Thunder gets a pass because at one point Tom Cruise is like, I'm an idiot. I don't know what you mean when you say these things. So now, as the audience,
talk to me like learning. I'm the audience. Yes,
exactly. Yeah. And for that, I will always say, Days of Thunder rocks. I don't care what the fuck you guys say. I'm out of here.
Did you just rev your bike engine at us and speed off?
I just drive off in my mellow yellow stock car.
I'm going to chase you down and tell you that I said Days of Thunder was not a good movie, but what I meant was, I love you. See where that gets me.
Oh my.
Tom Cruise even drives a motorcycle in Days of Thunder. That's great. Anyway,
this is Tom Cruise. Both of these movies is Tom Cruise doing things he likes to do.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Absolutely.
Flying planes and driving motorcycles and wearing white T-shirts and blue jeans. Yep.
Yeah, and driving fast cars and stuff.
Yep.
That's Tom Cruise's personality. These movies are perfect for him.
Oh, I have no doubt.
His sock sliding days are over. Sorry.
I have no doubt that those motorcycles, like in every movie he drives a motorcycle, and are his motorcycles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure they are. The helicopters are probably his helicopters,
surely. I mean, because he's like, hey, I've done the stunt on this helicopter, not even making a movie.
That's
so
why
I'm ready to do
that's
it.
why for like all the shit I talk about Tom Cruise, and I talked about this, I think, in our Days of Thunder episode, I have the utmost respect for the man and his ability to do all these things on screen. It's amazing.
It is honestly what's so exciting whenever you know there's a new Mission Impossible movie.
It's like, what crazy shit is Tom Cruise going to do? Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so anyway, who wants to take the baton from me? There's a song that's going to be.
Oh yeah, never close your eyes.
Not that good though. It was not sung that well.
Yeah, that was actually well sung.
Thank you. I do karaoke in my spare time. Go ahead.
I mean, this is iconic, right?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part of this scene though is when Goose says, "I hate it when she does that." Right?
Yeah.
He doesn't really want to do the shtick. He thinks it's probably pretty corny, but he goes along with it. But he also has fun with his resistance to it, which is nice because that scene kind of helps you establish the relationship that Maverick and Goose have, right?
Well, they have to be thick as thieves.
They're partners in everything, kind of way. Like they're closer than Goose is to his actual wife.
And he's actually literally, well, not literally. He's doing the metaphorical wingman to the literal wingman. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. But that happens. Kelly McGillis and Tom Cruise meet. She kind of ditches him. But she plays along a little bit with the bet that they made. That Tom Cruise Maverick made with Goose. Yeah, so she comes out of the bathroom after they like talk and tells Goose, your partner's wonderful or something like that.
Yeah.
And Goose is like, no.
Anthony Edwards and Val Kilmer Anthony Edwards is in it more, but for as little as they're both in the movie, they're my favorite.
Yeah.
There's one scene that is so Val Kilmer it hurts though, and not in a good way, and we'll get there.
Okay.
Is it the chomp?
It's the
okay.
the sniff scene.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your mouth's writing checks your body can't cash, Jason. That's all.
I can't cash them. I can't.
So next, what do? They go to
they've got
Fighter Weapons School.
Yeah.
Fighter Weapons School.
Yeah. No wonder they changed the name. Like that just rolls right off the tongue, right?
That would be hilarious if this movie was called Fighter
Weapons School. Well, that would have been the Asylum knockoff version of this. Would have been Fighter's Weapons School.
I love it. Would Red Brown have been Maverick?
Totally.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
That's
And he would have
screamed, right?
He would have screamed as he was shooting down somebody.
Yeah.
Oh God, we need that Red Brown Top Gun.
Oh my God.
badly.
God,
We
we really actually do. Yeah.
This was so they're in Miramar, which is in California. I thought they were saying that they were sending them to Myanmar, and you did too, didn't you, Jason?
I did too. Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, how fancy.
I did the same thing. You know,
Wow.
I was like, oh, this is just in California.
You're right. It's like, wait, this doesn't look like Myanmar. and how the fuck did I just immediately think of Myanmar? It's not even called that anymore.
Oh man.
Right?
So
it's
good.
like it changed it to
I don't think
is that the new name or the old name?
I think that's the new name.
I'm gonna have
What
to
was the
find
old
out.
name? Oh well, it doesn't matter.
No, hang on a second. I got it. Burma. It was Burma.
Okay. But it's
now it is
Myanmar.
officially the Republic of the Union of Myanmar. And this is not where they go. We spent a lot of time in this episode talking about Myanmar.
We're still talking about Burma, Chuck.
Thank you. Sorry, I had to get some Kleenex real quick. I'm having some problems over here.
So they go to flight school. First day of flight school, Top Gun school, if you will, and this is where you realize that Kelly McGillis is an instructor. She's one of the civilian instructors. She's a consultant, an intelligence consultant, and she knows her shit about foreign jets.
And $30 million planes.
Yeah. So she doesn't know how to necessarily fly, right? But she has all of this intelligence, this classified intelligence about how foreign foreign jets that they would normally face in the air in a conflict situation, how they operate, the physics of what they can do. And she can be vital to them into understanding how to fly against them, right? And of course, Maverick was like, oh, geez. Oh, geez.
Oh, geez.
I just almost kind of didn't really sleep with her the other day. And
you explained that better, by the way, than the movie did.
Cool.
She actually...
Oh, what she does? Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, is that why she is there?
Yeah, basically all Michael Ironside says is listen up.
Yeah.
By the way,
That's
Michael Ironside is always imposing no matter what. It's like
even his name is imposed. Like,
yeah,
you don't want to fuck with an Ironside.
I don't know why they just didn't let him use the call sign Ironside.
They should have.
Gesture just doesn't fit him at all.
Well, I have a feeling that that would have gotten the ire of Perry Mason.
I was going to say the Ironside.
Oh, that Ironside. Yep.
Yeah.
But where are we at? What's happening now?
So they're in flight school.
Yeah.
And there's a whole kind of back and forth between Charlie, Kelly McGillis, and Tom Cruise, because he's contradicting what she's saying, because he has been up against a MiG that closely and can attest firsthand that it can do the things that she's saying it can't do. And she finds out that he's the one that did the inverted fly thing at the beginning of the movie where they took the Polaroid. And there's a really funny Anthony Edwards moment in this where Iceman or his partner says bullshit about the inverted fly, and what does he say? He says, "No, man, it was a really great move." And I can't tell if he's like actually being like defensive or if he's jokingly being defensive, right?
Yeah,
it's the delivery is it can go either way.
Right. Yeah, and
Goose is never really serious except for once in this whole movie.
He's like, "No, man, it was great. It was a really good move."
Yeah, because that was Slider. That was Rick Rossovich.
So good.
And he's got it like it's the studly like Iceman buddy versus the kind of lovable dorky Goose like now going against each other.
Slider was his call name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just call him Small Hamburger? Sorry, I was trying to make an Ironside joke. Sorry.
So, call him Whitey Castle. White Castle.
Yeah. Please move on. I am terrible.
No, it's fine. But basically, she realizes that, he's the one who pulled that stunt that I heard about. So she's immediately interested in him because he's been closer to a MiG than anyone she's ever met.
And it's kind of interesting because she kind of uses that in a way that
is inappropriate.
That you would expect if the roles were reversed that Tom Cruise would have used to get close to her to, it is inappropriate. Mm-hmm. But that's what the 80s were, man.
The whole time
and
as long as it's true love, then it doesn't matter any impropriety. As long as it's true love.
Yeah, we'll see about how much of true love it is come Top Gun Maverick, which, by the way, she's not in. So, by the way, I guess we should
find one of her eyes.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ, Chuck's dead. I'm dying. And no,
I told you only had half an episode, Jeff, so you're getting close to death.
So we picked to do this movie because originally, like this upcoming Friday, 2 days from now, Top Gun Maverick was originally supposed to be released when we scheduled this movie. And then they moved it all the way out to 2022. By the time the movie comes out, it will have been filmed for like 18 years. And Tom Cruise will still look like he's 45 years old.
By the time the movie comes out, Val Kilmer will be able to talk again. Like probably literally be able to talk again. That's not even a joke.
Yeah. It's a sad statement, but yeah.
But kind of true. I'm treading on thin ice.
Yeah, you're
tonight.
really on thin ice. You're really on. I have
You're
the
on
power to
Iceman's
mute you.
back.
Yeah. So he, yeah, and so like, we'll talk a little bit more about it moving. I think it's a good idea, all things considered, in the real world, that they move the movie.
Sure.
But we can talk about that later. But anyway, so yeah, so now she wants to have Tom Cruise come over for dinner or something.
Sex, basically.
Okay, if that's what we're calling it these
She
days.
does leave a note. She's
I
like,
call it dinner.
Be here this time sharp, and then volleyball.
Yeah, so he fucks off and plays volleyball and he bros out for a real long time here, guys.
Mhm.
I'm telling
Until at least 5:30 p.m. Yeah.
Is it-
exactly.
Did it stir your giblets? Is that why you got that feeling about this movie?
Well, I don't know. When Rick Rossovich like kind of flexed there, it's like oh.
that loving feeling that was lost is back again.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is an iconic scene too.
Yeah.
Like from this, for whatever.
for
I don't
multiple reasons, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, because
That flex, the flex is my favorite part. It's so good.
it's just it's the ultimate bro down.
Yeah.
You know?
I always feel hot watching this because they're wearing jeans.
Oh yeah, hot baby.
Yeah. I should have dragged
They
that out
are
a little
wearing
bit
jeans
longer.
on the beach. That is incredibly stupid.
Yeah, that is really stupid. Plus, you can't really move in jeans. You know?
No, man. Have you ever
No.
played sports in jeans?
Yeah.
Dude, the sand that's in your jeans is constantly getting rubbed against you because
Ooh, yeah.
because they're tight. And,
It's like sand. Yeah, it's like little bits of sandpaper in your
In your nether regions.
in your nether region everywhere.
It's just everywhere.
It's just everywhere.
Sand is terrible. It gets everywhere.
in your Netherlands.
So
and
I've
Nova
been told.
Scotias.
Oh man, Tom Cruise,
Switzerland.
before he gets the date, he makes the worst pickup line too. If the government trusts me, don't you think you can?
Oh,
You
bad.
kind of sounded like
Oh.
Tom Cruise there a little bit.
Oh, so bad, so bad.
He should have been singing, not you, Chuck.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But he goes
Jason
over
can't even
there.
hum, so.
No, it's true. It's true. I never learned. So they went over. He goes over to Kelly McGillis's for dinner or whatever at 5:30 sharp, and he's a little late, and he thinks that he's blown it. Every time I see this movie, every goddamn time, I said he hasn't even taken a fucking shower, right? Because
because he's going to go over to her place and take a shower like
Well-
an asshole.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the funny thing is that I always forget that pays off, right? And he does actually take a shower, and he mentions, I'm going to take a shower. What is not really, they don't give you, is does he take the shower there, like you said? I think he does, or does he leave?
I think he leaves personally, but
Yeah, it can go either
Oh
way.
God, I'm the tiebreaker. I think he does both.
He takes
I
a
think
shower,
and
and then he
leaves.
just like towels off and leaves.
Yeah. No, he doesn't even towel off. He just puts
walks
his
out
clothes
wet.
back on
Yeah.
and just starts off.
I think, yeah.
he
Chuck,
looks so annoyingly perfect having left the beach too.
right.
Ugh, fuck him.
I know. I go either way though. I could be very well convinced that he just leaves. Yep. Because the next scene, he is actually taking a shower, but it's the next day. No, he's working out, I think. And he gets in the elevator, and Kelly McGillis is in the elevator looking all weird and butch. Like,
Okay,
This
so
is the Tarantino thing. This is
Yeah.
where Tarantino picks up his argument.
Right.
This is also where I have a really funny story to tell. So back in 2000, the Clearwater Crossing General Cinema had, like, I think it was like in March or something, back when big movies weren't released every fucking month and you could do shit like this. They did a thing where it's like, it's back to the 80s night, and they played 4 movies. I am positive they played Raiders of the Lost Ark and Top Gun. I'm also pretty sure they played Batman 1989 and Star Trek 2. And I went to all 4 of these movies. It was like $5. You can go see these movies. And these movies were like just in terrible condition. Indiana
God,
Jones.
I remember that. I think I saw that Indiana Jones print.
Yeah, Indiana Jones was like basically in sepia.
Yeah.
And Top Gun had a lot of scratches and a lot of frames missing.
Yeah.
And so, Chuck, I was there with your brother John.
Okay.
And this is something that became a long running, to this day, I could say this exact same thing to him and he would lose it. So we're sitting there and it's like, okay, now it's the scene. They go into the elevator and they look at each other and then jump cut to now a third person's in the elevator, leaving the elevator, and Tom Cruise looking at Kelly McGillis saying, well, I'm glad we got that settled. And for the longest time,
Oh my God.
John and I would have these moments where it's like we either are like not able to say what we are trying to say, or we don't say anything at all, and we just nod at each other and it's like, glad we got that settled, and just go about our business. It was so fucking funny because like there is a lot of dialogue in this elevator and we got none of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, I guess they're gonna screw around now. That's great. It's good for
That's
them.
funny. I didn't even take that scene that way necessarily, but that's really funny. I love it.
That's amazing.
I'm gonna text it. John's texting me now. I'm gonna text. I'm glad we got that settled.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Ask him if he knows if or see if he has any recollection of that. But anyway, so yeah. So in this is when she's like, I didn't want them to know that, I've fallen in love with you, which seems awkward.
Well, yeah, they go have sex first.
Oh, that's right. It's the later scene that she says
Yeah,
that.
they go have
But
sex
anyway,
first.
but basically she's like, so we're gonna
And then
do this?
that's when she dresses it. Then after they have sex, then she dresses him down in front of all of his macho men about him making the wrong move. And that's when she chases him out because he leaves in a huff, and then she drives after him and she says, you didn't let me finish. I was going to tell you that I think you a lot of genius in your flying, and I couldn't say that because I'll feel like everyone can see through me.
They have sex again here, though.
Realize that I love you. Oh,
right
was it?
right in,
I
right
think
on
this
top
is the
of his
first time they have
motorcycle.
sex. Actually.
Oh, you're right. I got it all mixed
You
up.
get a
You're
little
right.
backwards there, but it's okay.
Yeah. I
glad we got
corrected
that
Jeff, but he
settled.
was right.
Yeah.
Anyway. But anywho, yeah.
Okay, so I have a live update.
Oh boy.
I just texted my brother. I'm glad we got that settled. And he texted back, you talking Top Gun here, Rocco?
He remembers. Yeah,
Oh, that's
tell him
so
I told
good.
the story.
That's so good. Love it.
Okay,
So-
sorry, continue.
Yeah. So, so basically this is when because he gets the dressing down. He's like revving his bike. He's like, sorry, I can't hear what you're saying. Blah, 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 blah. And then she gets in her like little fucking roadster or whatever she drives and is like going like hard after him to the point where like I think she ends up like cutting him off or something.
No, she doesn't cut him off, but she comes right up on his tire and
That's
screeches the wheels.
It's kind of like a dog
and
fight.
he's like yeah. And he's like what you think I'm the one that's reckless or something like that. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a flight simulation in a way. He's being targeted by her, and she totally locks on and fucking destroys him, basically.
Yeah.
She
I
takes him
think-
to bed and has the sex with him.
Yeah, she
The sex.
the sex. But he's the one.
That's what you have in the Navy.
Torpedo.
Torpedo. Say it again.
Torpedo. I got a torpedo for you.
That's my call name. Torpedo.
Torpedo.
Yeah.
Mine is torpedo. Aren't you glad I didn't say banana? Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think they can fit that on the helmet.
Oh,
Yeah.
they can try. Anyway.
Yeah. They could
so
maybe do it in emojis.
Okay. Fair enough. So yeah. Okay. So it's very clear. Like, there's one thing about this movie that kept kind of like lingering in my brain between Kelly McGillis and Tom Cruise, and that was they make it feel a little lecherous from her point of view, or from like her being that way towards Tom Cruise, because it makes it seem like the Tom Cruise is like basically like a 21-year-old dude, and she's like 30. Like they play her as something like 30 or 35, like she's this much older, even though I think it's more of a maturity thing, but it almost feels like
he looks a lot older than him, though.
It doesn't
he's
help
a baby face.
that she is very professional and he is very immature. I mean, that also accentuates that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. And it's just it like it is true. It's like Tom Cruise like has forever looked the same age, and they're only 5 years difference or something like that,
right?
But like it is played almost like teacher and student.
Sure. Well, it is.
Well,
I mean, it isn't just played like that. It is that.
It is that. Yeah.
I do want to clear one thing up. So, because I sounded stupid like 2 minutes ago, when you told the story about the film messing up, I totally missed that it skipped a whole large portion of the movie into that thing.
Yeah, it cut out all of the elevators.
So now I get it. I said I never took that scene that way. Well, I couldn't because I never saw it that way.
Right, you never saw it the way I saw it.
Yes. Sorry, I just didn't I couldn't continue on being
that made me think it would be really funny to take a movie and recut it like that. Like take stuff out. Not recut it, but just take stuff out, like strategic stuff out, but let it run in the same consecutive order, chronological order, and see what you could really do to it to make it a completely different movie. I think that would be a really fun exercise in editing.
You could take out like one line a lot and make things from a drama to a comedy easily. Right. I think.
Well,
most definitely.
I can tell you that elevator scene turned Top Gun from an action movie to a comedy.
Yeah.
For the rest of my life.
Now that I have the full scope of that is really hilarious.
So, so the one thing we haven't really talked too much about?
The dogfighting?
Yeah, the scenes in the plane.
Yeah.
Top Gun.
The gun. A lot of topping going on.
Yeah, no gunning. So one of the exercises, they have to go up against Ironsides, there's a very specific rule. It's like you basically chase and you try to shoot down Michael Ironside, who's like one of the top guns. He's number 2 to Viper. Which this is the only time that Tom Skerritt's ever been called Viper in his life.
But they're no longer active servicemen. Well, they're active servicemen, but they're not.
They're instructors. They're not fighters anymore. Yeah. But Jester and Viper are like 2 of the best, and some of the war games are going up against Jester. And there's a very important rule, and it's an international rule, which is you cannot shoot somebody underneath a certain altitude. Which I thought I understood why, but whatever. And they lock on to Jester. The Tom Cruise, Maverick and Goose lock on to Jester, and to get out of it, he flies under the altitude mark, and they shoot him anyway.
A lot of this shit, I had no idea what they're fucking talking about, but I'm glad you got it because I didn't.
Well, I would just say you had gotten up. I had just said that I didn't quite understand the international rule around not shooting them at a certain altitude, but whatever. My guess is there's probably some sort of collateral damage, although raining down fiery airplane is also a problem in some small towns. Anyway, so they think they've won, but no, they didn't win that war game because they cheated, essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Which Maverick's kind of like, so?
We still killed you. Yeah,
we still got you.
Which he's got. That's a damn good point,
Right.
Is this war or not? What the fuck,
Right. Yeah, there's no rules in war except for all the rules in war.
Still all the rules of war.
Yeah.
We could talk about this for hours, but the rules of war just baffle me.
Mm-hmm.
Like even going back to the Revolutionary War, where we basically cheated.
Yeah, we won by guerrilla warfare.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, and the British couldn't adapt to it. They're like, nope, we're just going to keep walking.
We're just going to keep lining up and
file.
Down.
Oh yeah, Battle of 1812 was even worse. It's like you didn't learn anything, guys. You know,
it was a different generation of guys.
It was like
wild to me.
What was that? Like 30 years later, 40 years later, they still hadn't learned how to fight.
It's like,
fuck you, England.
In what
like, this is easy pick, shooting reds out of a barrel.
In what fucking world, really, is it okay to kill people, but there are rules about it? Like, it makes zero sense. Like, the rules should be, you can't kill anyone.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I think
past that.
I think the proper rules are you don't just for whatever reason go in and invade somebody.
But that's you can't use gas. You can't use.
Well, don't use gas. Don't,
a lot of that stuff though is regulated in peacetime, right?
Right.
So that it can't happen in wartime, basically.
But then people still adhere to it for the most part. It's just wild to me.
Well, they don't want it to happen to them. It's like nukes. It's like nukes in a lot of ways. These are the agreed upon things that, we don't want to happen to us, so we won't do it to you. Yeah.
I agree. It's just wild still.
Yeah, it is wild.
Yeah.
So, so at this point we meet Goose's family, and this should be the tip off that he ain't gonna make it to the end of this movie.
Right.
And Meg Ryan, an early Meg Ryan role here, or early-ish Meg Ryan role.
Yeah, it's pretty early.
She
cute as a button, Meg Ryan.
Oh yeah.
And she's Goose's wife, and they have a little boy. And they're kind of on a double date, and Kelly McGillis is there, and it's like Maverick really likes you, basically. And,
I love that whole thing that Meg Ryan's like talking about how many women he, like, basically like elbowing him like they're pals, kind of buddies, and then and then she's like, he really likes you.
Yeah,
he's
it's like you are different. Yeah. It's funny. And that's when they go off and they, she says something while sitting on his bike, and
take me home or lose me forever. It's the same thing that
Meg
Ryan take me to bed. Meg Ryan says it to Goose. Take me to bed or lose me forever. That's what.
And then she repeats it on the bike. Yeah.
Right. To which she's almost sitting there like, I don't know why you need a bed. You're already there. I've
got my sex rocket right here.
I believed it a lot more when Meg Ryan said it. Just saying.
Yeah.
You've got something against Kelly McGillis.
You do.
You're like, fuck this bitch.
Those are not my words.
No, your words are
thoughts.
That. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put that in your mouth, but
you didn't.
Dogged her a little bit.
You have dogged her quite a bit.
Maybe
how can you not like her with her little aviator jacket with the sleeves pulled up in the elevator there? That's cute.
I do want to bring up too, though, that maybe this happens later. No, this is now when the whole Great Balls of Fire thing is hokey and also awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I like that better than the you lost that love and feeling.
The Righteous Brothers.
Yeah, I like that scene better. Because in it, it's familial, right?
Well, because he's singing it with the son there, and and
of course, like you said, things aren't going to go well because we've had this really nice familial moment.
So that pretty much happens immediately. So, who wants to describe this? Because I'll admit I'm not entirely sure exactly what.
Jesus. Okay, I'll try. So
it was a lot of pew pew and a lot of bonk bonk.
So you've got Iceman and Maverick. They're both partnered in this, and they have to take down the bogey, right? And Maverick is wingman, but Maverick thinks he's got the shot. He's got the right distance. He's got the shot. He wants Iceman to get out of the way. Iceman is like, I got it. This could be 10 more seconds, 5 more seconds. And Maverick is like, Jesus Christ, I've got it right now. So finally, Iceman's like, you're right, I don't got it. And he flies off. But what happens and this is what I don't understand, is something with like a I want to call it a backwash. What the hell do they call it? A jet wash. It's a jet
Yeah.
wash. And he gets caught in like the vapors, I think.
He's got the vapors.
He's got the vapors.
It's the fuel vapors from the engine going into their engine.
They suck it in.
Flooding it.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And it puts Maverick's plane into a flat spin, and he has no control. And he's trying to get control, and he can't get it back. And then because of the G forces that creates, it creates difficulty for Goose to hit the ejection lever. But he eventually does. However, I don't know how this happens, but when the canopy to their jet ejects up, it doesn't eject up fast enough. And when Goose's seat ejects, he hits the top of it. And I don't know if he dies there or if when he hits the water, he drowns because he can't react.
It's possible that he is knocked out.
He hits that water. He hits that water like a dummy. I mean, he is not present. Yeah,
I feel like he dies right away. It reminds me
probably.
of
It's like
it reminds me of all those car crashes or race wrecks that happen when you go head into a wall and your neck snaps.
Yeah,
what happened to Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah.
It seems like one of those kind of.
It definitely. It always felt like that to me too.
Yeah, it probably is also.
And that he hits the water dead. Yeah.
I think that's probably what happened to Buddy Brotherton too.
I don't know that joke. I
don't know Days of Thunder.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
That's John C. Reilly.
Yes, it is what happens to him. You're right. I just couldn't remember his name.
I thought maybe it was what happened to Dominic Toretto's father also. Maybe.
Yeah, Buddy Toretto.
Buddy Toretto, yeah.
I'm sorry, Jeff. If I'd known that name, I would have laughed.
I would have
too. Enough,
I wasn't sure if I should have laughed or not. I was like,
me neither. Until Jeff
is that like a race car driver that I don't know? Yeah.
Little winks thrown at us.
Oh, killed me.
So the I suspect that he died on the spot. Or like right away. So now he has to go and collect.
It's the only goose I've ever been sad has died.
Oh, fuck geese. Yeah, I hear you. This is really not, I don't want to gloss over it too quickly because this affected me as a child.
Yeah.
Because I loved Goose.
Yep.
Right? Loved Goose. And it's still, to this day, is almost a little tear jerky for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They set it up well. I mean, they give you like peak Goose and then they take him away.
He's the most likable character in the movie. Yep. He's a grounding force for the movie. He's a lot of good things for this movie, and now he's just
an adorable. Now you see his adorable family, and then boom, gone.
Yep.
So Maverick's got to go and get all of his stuff and take it to Mrs. Goose.
No, but first he's got to stand in the bathroom in his tidy whities, leaning against the sink. That's what he's got to do first.
Oh, he's got to do that first. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's what we all do after a death. Somebody close to us.
I have a story about this. All right, do you guys remember that show? I think it's the show that replaced Monster Vision. Sadly, it was called Dinner and Movie.
Oh yeah,
I remember that
on TBS. Oh, it was on TBS, not TNT. So I think it ran concurrently, or it might have run on a different night. But anyway, I used to watch Dinner and Movie. It definitely outlasted Monster Vision because I think it went into the aughts even. But,
it was more mainstream stuff, so yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it was more mainstream stuff, sure. But it was funny. Like the guy on there, Paul, what the hell? I can't read my own handwriting. Gilmenton, I think. Paul Gilmenton. He was a stand-up comic, I guess. I only knew him from this show. But the concept was you had him and his co-host, which is usually a woman, and then their chef Claude, who would make dishes that were themed to the movie. And those would be kind of like the breaks would be like checking in with the dish, or sometimes they do like little short kind of like skits, right? But what killed me about their presentation of Top Gun was after the scene where Tom Skerritt comes in and tells Tom Cruise matter-of-factly that Goose is dead while Tom Cruise is leaning over against the sink in his tidy whities. it smash cuts to like the host segment, and it's got Phil Gilmanton. He always wore like khaki pants. He's he's in like whatever break room they have on set, and he's leaning over the sink, staring into the mirror, and he's got his khakis on, but he's got tighty whities pulled up on over them. And it fucking killed me, and it still kills me to this day. And I can't for the life of me find it. I can't find the clip or a screen capture of it, and I really want to find it. So if anyone happens to listen to this episode, please email us at filmseizure@gmail.com. I want to see this again.
That's a wild place to put a joke.
Yeah. No,
It's
that's
funny.
That's what made it even funnier. That's what made it even funnier. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's perfection. It was like comedic genius. I think of it every time I see this movie.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I mean, Tom Skerritt isn't exactly like very supportive here either. He's kind of just like, hey, the first is tough, but
it happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I get it. That's a very militaristic kind of thing. You're going to lose people here, but again, they are more concerned about the planes than they are about Goose.
Yeah, he shows his more tender side later.
Later. Yeah.
Right. So
yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. So basically, this leads to Tom Cruise. He's going to leave too. Just like what was the other guy's name? Goblin. What was his name?
Oh God, Cougar.
Goose and Goblins. That was a good
Cougar.
Nintendo game. The Cougar. That's it. Yeah. So.
You're trying to find a joke. I know you are.
No.
About women of a certain age, and it's not working, is it?
What?
I was trying to find a joke about women of a certain age with Cougar, and I couldn't find anything.
I don't know why I said Goblin, but anyway.
Wow. Okay. Divergent brains. Never mind.
So anyway, he basically is in the same space that Cougar was in. He's not going to be able to continue on, so he washes out. Now, what's interesting is, in conventional movies of the time, he would figure out a way to get back in. But spoiler alert, he doesn't go back.
I love that. Actually, it's one of the things I love about this movie. Yep.
He goes back for a different reason.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, as far as we know, he's going to quit the military, period.
Yeah.
And
pulling a cougar.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, his dad, so he has that tender scene with Tom Skerritt, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say next.
Okay, it's coming up.
All right.
Yeah.
Which is basically he tells Kelly McGillis, I'm out of here, whatever. See you later. Thanks for all the sex. He's like a dolphin leaving.
Douglas Adams wrote that line.
Yeah. that was the original, like,
that was the original
version.
one.
Yeah.
So long, and thanks for all the dicks.
I mean that. Thanks for all the sex wouldn't be that out of line for dolphins, honestly. So
no. They take.
They have one
want.
purpose in life.
Oh, jeez.
Sorry. Womp me.
So they. So yeah, he's gonna leave, and Tom Skerritt's like, oh, you're really gonna, leave? I guess. Forget Top Gun. You're leaving the whole thing. And that's when he tells him that he knew his dad, which Pete Mitchell didn't really know his dad, Duke, which I'm assuming that he went off and formed G.I. Joe or something.
He did.
Yeah.
That's the kind of classified stuff that Tom Skerritt was telling me couldn't tell him.
Right. It's like, yeah.
You can't tell anyone he's in G.I. Joe now.
Yeah, he's off fighting Cobra. So, he's like, he tells him, what type of a guy Duke Mitchell was.
Yeah.
And he, and because essentially after his dad died, he explained that his mom kind of lost it too, and ended up dying very shortly after.
Yeah.
And he was he raised by an aunt and uncle, I think he said, or something? something like that. I don't know.
I tune a lot of that shit out. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I may be getting him confused with Peter Parker, but anyway,
basically, the Cliff's Notes version here is that his dad didn't fuck up. There was a cover up. He did it right. There was a cover up. He was kind of the fall guy, and all the shit's classified, and I could go to jail for even telling you. But you're trying to live up. You're trying to correct a mistake of the past that doesn't need correcting. Just is the message.
Correcting a mistake that doesn't exist.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And in fact, doesn't even Kelly McGillis say that she tries to do something about it or is going to do something about it? Am I making up a new movie?
Well, no, she says something like, I want to help. She's like, she basically says, I know what you're going through. I've seen it before. Let me help you. And he's like, well, I don't know. He's like, I can't.
You're too late. She's like, I'm too late. He's like, yeah, you're too late.
Yeah, you're right. You're too late. I'm fucking done. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Tom Skerritt, Viper. Yeah, Viper. I got it right. Okay. Tells him you have two options. You can quit or you can come graduate tomorrow because you have enough points.
Right.
He does graduate. And then he returns to the Enterprise, but this time with Iceman.
Yeah, they have an immediate mission.
Yeah.
Oh,
Virgil
wait.
Iceman.
Wait. Before we get here, I just checked my notes. We got to talk about the thing that Val Kilmer's terrible scene in this movie, where he's Val Kilmer it hurts. It's when it's when he says, "I'm sorry about Goose," to
We all liked him.
We all liked him. Like it's not the sentiment, it's not the words, it's the performance. It's really bad. He's like, I can't really quite do it. He's like, I just want to say. And he looks up. He's like, I'm really sorry about Goose. It's like I don't know what he's doing. Like, what's the choice that he's making there? Is he trying to convey some sense of like
getting choked up,
right? Like he's holding back.
I got the sense.
Is it that he's like gritting his teeth to say this, but then
that's the impression I got, that it was tough for him to say something nice to Maverick. Not that he didn't care for Goose. But
I don't like the choice. It was a very conscious choice, and that scene always bugs me. But it's kind of important too, right? Because Goose or I think Iceman is kind of recognizing that moment that he did something that was not necessarily reckless, but he messed up. It might not have been an egregious mistake, but when everything is about like milliseconds,
he had a little bit of hubris.
To be perfect.
Hubris might have caused the issue.
Right, exactly. That he takes some responsibility, and that's never really explored beyond that. But I think it at least is conveyed. I think in the script with that scene, not as well with the performance. Anyway.
Yeah. Fair enough. So yeah, he shows up. He gets his little Top Gun wings and his diploma, and they return to the Enterprise because it's like, we spotted some MiGs hiding behind that tree over there. We got to go fuck them up. Let's go.
There's a marooned ship that MiGs are circling basically.
I had to look this up. I had to look this up because I was confused again. I was like, wait, why is this whole thing happening? It's because this ship was drifting. It was incapable of controlling its trajectory. Its engines are out or something, and it was drifting into enemy waters.
Yeah, it was the Kobayashi Maru.
Yeah. It was. It's absolutely fucking right. That's exactly what it was. So they had to go and like protect it while they were repairing the shit on the ship so they could get out of dangerous waters.
Which would mean that those ships are now in the neutral zone.
Yes.
And Spock is going to get blown up.
This is the kind of mission that his father was.
They're on the USS Enterprise, so
it
all makes sense.
Yeah, and then Admiral Kirk is going to come in and raid everybody's acting job, and he's going to lay into Val Kilmer first.
But yes, that's the situation. So they go up. It's not even Maverick who goes up. It's It's Iceman and what's his partner's name again?
Slider. Slider.
They go up with two other people who I don't think we've met before.
No.
In a plane it's a pairing that we've met before. But
and Maverick has a new RIO. It's RIO, right? Whatever that's.
He's like on standby.
Merlin.
Yeah, he's with Merlin. He's with the most improbable cockpit pilot assistant in the history of movies, Tim Robbins, who is at least 8 feet tall.
It'd be great if you look back in the back seat and like you see Tim Robbins' knees. Because he's all crunched in there.
He's just got helmets on each of his knees.
It kills me at the end of the movie when he's like cheering with everyone else. He's at least 2 heads and 2 shoulders taller than everyone else.
It's really funny too because obviously anyone who saw this movie in the 80s had no idea who Tim Robbins was.
No,
this is fucking random and weird,
man.
But this is so random and weird to see him just pop up in the last 6 minutes of a movie.
Yeah,
like, hey, Tim Robbins is celebrating.
He was in the beginning. He was Cougar's radar intercept. So,
I didn't recognize him though because he had his helmet on.
Right.
I didn't recognize him until they were on the deck.
He's not super recognizable until the very end of the movie. Yeah.
And you're like, hey, shit, Tim Robbins.
Yeah. So this is pre-Bull Durham. Like nobody in the world knows who Tim Robbins is. Not even Susan Sarandon knows who he is yet.
Oh man,
right?
And seriously, like how has he ever talked about how he got cast as like an 8 foot tall man as a pilot?
How tall is he really?
He's tall. He's really tall. He's really tall. Anyhow,
yeah, he's 6'5".
Confirmed. 8 feet tall. Oh no, Jeff, that's
6'5". Is that what you found?
6'5".
Yeah.
He's
That's
tall.
very tall.
That's pretty fucking tall. He's like almost
he
as tall
couldn't
as
play
Michael
an
Jordan.
IndyCar driver. Let's put it that way. You gotta get Tom Cruise. For
he wasn't in
movie.
Days of Thunder. Randomly show up. At the end of the movie?
There's a big bubble on the top.
He would have fit
of
better in Days of Thunder, though. He would have. Yeah. He would have been a good. Him and John C. Reilly sometimes are like interchangeable.
I was gonna just say that he could have played John C. Reilly's role pretty easily.
They're interchangeable,
especially in the 80s, 90s.
Back then,
version
absolutely.
of Tim Robbins.
Yep.
Okay, so so they have to basically they figure out it's like, okay, we got to call in the third jet. We got to call in Maverick, and Maverick is like got the shape.
Oh yeah, because that indescript jet got blown up.
Yeah,
because
the nobodies got blown up.
They got like 5-2 in the air right now, and I don't know if you've ever played basketball, but those are not good odds. Are not.
I don't know, man. Whenever I've been, 2 on 5, that's when I sky. That's when I'm
That's when you sky.
I'm dunking over guys. I'm throwing ollie oops. Anyway,
so now it's just down to Iceman. And he's got to like stay alive essentially until they scramble Maverick in the air. Now, here's my question: why do they only have 2 F-14s on this aircraft
the
carrier?
Enterprise is actually quite loaded with Tomcats. They could send them all.
So they send 1 Tomcat to replenish an already disadvantaged situation.
Budget cuts.
Yeah, I don't think it's a number of ships. I think it's a number of pilots.
Yeah, but the Enterprise,
maybe.
Okay, the Enterprise is the flagship of the aircraft carriers.
Hell, Jester and fucking Viper could have gone up if we're down to brass tacks.
I feel like that the Enterprise would have more pilots than planes.
Yeah,
and they would send them all if they had to.
And Iceman even makes the comment to the
also the Enterprise wouldn't have been there alone either.
He makes the comment to him, like, I don't think Maverick is the right choice for this mission, implying to me that there are other choices.
Yeah.
So there should be other pilots.
Well, there's a whole room of pilots.
Yeah.
So and
good
also,
point. So I was totally wrong.
Yeah.
But.
So also the Enterprise wouldn't have been in those waters alone either. There would have been other gunships that could have gone.
Sure. Okay, let me just say this: what I say in horror movies all the time. They have to have it this way, or there's no fucking movie.
They could
send up if they send up 13
scrambled one more. Jets. They could have sent up one more jet. It would have at least felt like better, right?
But it makes the
budget. That to me is budget. It makes budget.
The payoff so much less. Like,
I
you
don't think
have
so.
to have these stupid things happen to
They
make
could have had somebody
Maverick
else
a
go
hero.
down. They could have had another nondescript Tomcat go down. You know,
That's
I
fair.
it just seems odd to me. That's something that immediately takes me out of the
That would
movie
have
and the
been
plot.
like that would have been like going up
Especially in a
against.
movie, Chuck, that has painstakingly used all this terminology and all this like military tactic jargon to then fail so horribly with military tactics at the end of the movie is just weird.
I think they sacrificed that all for heroics.
Well,
I mean,
but-
I get what both of you guys are saying, but this is just a fucking movie thing.
Yeah,
I know.
but
It is what it is.
But in Star Wars,
It's
the
still a
Rebel
criticism.
Alliance sent everybody to the Death Star, and still a lot of them got shot down. More of them got shot down than the bad guys.
Right. But yeah,
And
I mean,
the movie
there's
still happened.
what is the Star Trek one where the Enterprise shows up at the very end and saves the day
Wow.
when everybody died, but they don't
Yeah.
even show it.
Every night when I go to sleep and I dream,
You
of
know
the
what
Star
I'm
Trek.
saying.
No, well, I'm telling you, that's the movies that happen where the Enterprise.
Anyway.
shows- and I'm like, I wake up and I'm like,
I
that was great.
give the Star Trek universe more leeway though than this universe, right? I mean,
Well, yeah, because Star Trek has the built-in caveat of you're the only ship in the sector.
right? It's
But
always
they weren't in this case. I'm talking about the case where, yeah, it does.
Oh,
All right, fair
It's
enough.
neither here nor there. It's
What
a
happens?
heroic thing. What happens is
yeah.
Iceman goes up with the other whoever they are. I think Jeff.
No, Maverick goes up with Jester to help save Iceman.
No, goes up with Merlin.
Merlin, I mean, yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. I forgot we already covered the other
Maverick goes
ship
up with
gets-
Merlin, Tim Robbins, and to go protect Iceman
after the first other
after
ship gets.
the other Tomcat got blowed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
There is
And-
a good scene where Maverick is sitting there and they're calling him in. It's like
Yeah.
you gotta go in now and fight off these dastardly MiGs. And he's sitting there thinking about it, like stuck in his own head. And then he like jets off. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's rad. You know,
Yeah.
it's
but
like
then he does it
now he's-
again.
Yeah.
He does it again when he gets up there. He starts to engage. He gets kind of spooked off, and everyone's freaking
Merlin
out.
has to like talk to him.
Yeah,
And-
everyone on the Enterprise is saying he's disengaged. He's disengaged, and Merlin's like, "Get the fuck in there! You have to protect Iceman. Get the fuck in there!" And it's the
And
whole.
he clutches the dog tags of Goose in the cockpit. He's like,
Talk to me, Goose. Talk to me,
Yep.
Goose. Is
Yep.
what he's saying up there.
Meanwhile,
And
everybody can hear him say that. And it's like, uh-oh.
"Uh-oh, we
Send up
got
another plane.
Yeah,
there were multiple
he's never
moments.
flying a plane again.
Yeah.
There were multiple moments in this movie where there was conversations that Goose was having with Iceman that Goose and Maverick were having that naturally everyone else should have heard, where they're talking shit about
yeah.
other people.
Oh yeah,
I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, are they turning off like the outside, like are
Right.
they on their own
I don't
private
think
Are they on
that's
a
how
different
that works.
channel? Yeah.
yeah.
It seems like a lot to think about, doesn't
Oh
it?
man,
Yeah.
that guy
Yeah.
smells like poop. Did you smell him today? It's like, guys, I'm right over here.
It's like, we're on the shit talk channel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But at this point, there are a total of 6 MiGs.
That's what Goose's job is. This is one of his jobs, is to make sure that when they talk shit,
Flip the channels.
that he flips the channel.
Yeah. He's like, hold on, let me get on the private Slack.
Perfect.
Oh no, Maverick! I just CC'd everyone on your bullshit talk.
Unsend.
Yeah, unsaid. So
When has that ever worked, by the way? Unsent.
Never.
Never.
there are 6 MiGs now because there was a magical 6th one that appears.
Oh no, the magical was the 5th one. I'm pretty sure.
no,
Yeah.
there were 6 total. Watch it.
Oh,
again.
was there? Okay. Well, he's okay. So that guy is hiding behind, like the swing set or something, waiting for the kids to come along so he can
Yeah.
jump them. Yeah.
Because I'm not going to explain the whole dogfight. Basically, Iceman takes down one of the MiGs. Maverick takes down 3, and the other two bug out.
The other two
Yeah.
fuck off. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
they
why I
beat
know there
cheeks.
were more than 5 because they said they're all bugging out. So they
Yeah.
couldn't have
They
just been
should
one.
have said they're all beating cheeks.
Yeah, they're all beating cheeks. I do like the phrase bugging out though. That's
Bugging, yeah.
They're all bugging out.
They're all
Um,
But yeah, Maverick saves the day.
Maverick saves the day.
And how does he do it? He does it in his classic, like, I'll hit the brakes, it'll fly right by me. A thing that he had tried earlier in Top Gun training that failed. It was what he did when he killed Jester, but he was underneath the altitude line or whatever.
Yeah,
anyway,
we don't know if they're underneath the altitude line this time around.
right. So now
just kill some dirty reds.
It's to prove the kind of point of, all's fair, right? I got to save Iceman no matter what. Geneva Convention be damned. This arbitrary altitude line.
We can't let these Reds invade the country with their critical race theory and whatnot.
Oh my gosh!
Do it.
Why did that have to come up here?
I don't know.
Because that's what Russians do, right?
I guess.
Everything else.
I don't know. I'm leaving.
Anyway. So he saves the day. They come down. Everybody high fives.
You can be my wingman anytime.
Oh boy.
No,
that's the closer in the Tarantino.
My wingman anytime. Right.
That's the closer in the Tarantino.
That was them consummating their love for one another.
Yeah.
In the Tarantino thing. Yep.
But that doesn't make any sense. Why would Iceman and Maverick be in love? They hate each other.
No, that's all been sexual tension.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. So Maverick decides he is going to leave active service and he's going to return to Top Gun as an instructor because he killed a total of 6 Russians who just probably were looking for a paycheck. He murdered them.
They're probably 18 and this or the gulag.
Right. And it's like, I guess I'm flying a plane today.
He earns his choice of anywhere in the military, right? Because of his actions.
And he decides he's going to go back to sunny Burma.
Which is kind of hilarious. Well, maybe not hilarious. Yeah, he's in Burma. It's not hilarious, but think about it. Think about the
it is hilarious, Chuck. It is hilarious.
No, what I'm going to say next is not quite as hilarious as the Burma thing. But you invest all this money in your flight people, whatever you want, your pilots. Maverick is in one skirmish. He's the best in the fucking world. And then they're like, okay,
they're going to let him retire.
If you want to be an instructor, go ahead. It's like that doesn't seem like it would happen in the military to me.
But
maybe though, because maybe he can impart that because he's going to go up in the air and he's going to fly against the best of the best, right? He's still going to fly.
Yeah.
So he is. If you can beat Maverick, then he's helping train the next.
Well, Viper was
but
another
Jason,
one who didn't fly too many. Or
think of it this way.
I think it was Viper who flew a couple of missions and then he went.
But they were both feared. Like Viper and Jester were feared.
Yeah,
they were feared.
But
yeah,
imagine this: you have a 24-year-old ace pitcher in the major leagues. You win the World Series. He's the MVP. He wins the Cy Young. And at 24, when he's the best in the fucking world, you say, "Do you want to be a manager now?" That shit doesn't happen.
I mean, though, maybe if every 1 in 10 pitches he hits someone in the head,
But then he wouldn't be the best in the world. That's my point.
No, but maybe you can be. Maybe he's that good. But once in every 10 pitches, he hits someone in the head. I mean,
All I'm saying is it's a little
1 in 10 pitches.
1 in 10. 1 in 10.
Wow. But the thing is that he can get through an inning with 9 pitches.
Yeah.
He puts a guy on, and then he gets through another,
Yeah. I mean, you could get through an inning in 3 pitches, I mean, if you're really good. Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's like, it's ridiculous. If I had the best in the world, I wouldn't be like, you can go do whatever you want now. You want to be a slop?
But they're not going to let Cougar. They're not going to let Cougar just walk away either.
But Cougar isn't the best.
But he was, though. And he was going to go to Top Gun, remember? So, when he turns in his wings, that's not like quitting your job. Like that's not like turning in.
No,
your
he's
fucking
swapping
apron.
decks or
Cougar.
something.
Yeah, it's like
okay.
exactly. It's like you
This
don't
is a
just
ducks.
turn in your apron and leave Steak and Shake for the
This
last
is-
time.
But you can't
This
make
is
somebody
different.
fly a
This-
plane. You can't make
No,
somebody
you
fly a
can't.
plane.
You cannot.
can't
But
do
this
it.
is Cougar's scenario is different because Cougar's scenario is he was in the AAAs, and when he got his opportunity to start, he couldn't put the ball in the zone. He never would have made. He never would have made the major. I'm being serious here, though.
He never adjusted to the speed of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. However you want to say it, I'm belaboring this unnecessarily, but it really. I think Cougar's situation and Mavericks are different.
Fair enough.
Personally, yeah.
Fair
Well,
enough.
I mean, I think what it
Maverick can
did-
now on his plane put like 3 little skull and crossbones because he's
Yeah.
killed some motherfuckers.
Yeah, you get
What
those
else?
helmet stickers for every
Yeah.
fucking plane you bring
Yes,
down.
yes. He's like Ohio State. Yep.
Yeah.
I think though what it did was set up the inevitable sequel that didn't
Right.
happen for 35 years.
Which is appropriate because Tom Cruise was what? He looked like he was 21 in this movie. He now looks like he's 27 or 40, whatever Jeff wants to say. He still looks like he's 20 to me. But I mean, if the man hasn't aged at all,
By the way,
you could make it feel like 5 years had passed and I'd buy it.
he's the
The way Tom Cruise looks.
he's
That's
the
true.
he's the walking like embodiment of Dorian Gray. So like once he starts going downhill, every man in our generation will suddenly become elderly. Like
Oh, so he's like got the weight of age on his back.
Yes.
Yep.
And the moment he goes downhill, we all become instantly elderly.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm glad that he's still hanging in there.
They'll call it the Scientological genocide.
I can't remember. I do want to bring up this. I can't remember.
Chuck was
I'm
like,
just
Jeff was
blowing
kinda-
right past
Yeah.
this one. I'm
Yeah.
hitting the brakes and letting you fly by me.
And I'm going to put on the Shit Talk channel now. All right, Chuck, what you got to say?
I think it actually is when Tom Cruise says he's going to hit the brakes and let the other plane fly by me. The way that Tim Robbins Merlin delivers, "You're going to do what?" It's fucking classic. It's so good.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
You got to put your feet in Merlin's shoes there, right? I mean, he's getting in the back seat.
Dude, they'd fall off my feet for sure.
Yeah.
He's got like size 31s.
Oh, they would. They would.
he is Chuck and me standing on top of each other in a trench coat.
In a
call.
trench-
Well,
Why
the
is
first
it
thing
always
you
gonna
have to imagine is getting into a cockpit, and then the second thing you have to imagine is getting in the back seat with a crazy person, maybe, right? Who's driving a car, not just a car, but like a supersonic jet. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Jeff being on my shoulders when him be in the cockpit with the crazy person.
Yeah, it's like,
But
hey,
yeah.
Chuck, I'm gonna
I mean,
stop real fast. and
That's
let him
basically
run
how
by
I feel.
us.
That's basically how I feel every time we record episode. But
Right.
yeah,
The problem is, though,
We're
one
in
of
a-
us
we're in
is
a
a
chat-
crazy
We're in
person.
a Zoom call with a potential crazy person. I'm over
Yeah.
here like, hey guys, what's up?
But the crazy person moves every episode. It's never the same person.
that's true.
This episode, I'd argue, we're all a little bit crazy.
A little bit.
But I will say I had no great nostalgia for this movie. Honestly, I
don't
like
really
it.
either. I like it too. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I'm
agree.
And
with
I
that.
liked it
I agree with
again. But it's still not, and really, like Jason, the thing that stuck out to me the most, well, this is for both of you, but Jason mentioned it, the number of lines from this movie that are still like uttered in
Yeah.
society to this day is kind of astounding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
it
mean,
doesn't
dude, I
feel
have
like
the-
a quotable movie, but it
But
obviously is.
It is.
There's a lot though. Yeah.
There's,
Yeah.
the wingman line. There's
Yep.
the I have the need for speed.
Mhm.
You got to do the overarching high five.
Yep.
Your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
Right.
There's a bunch of them.
I mean, just the
There's-
whole like take your breath away. I mean, that whole thing is still in the zeitgeist. I mean,
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, and then there's the immortal line. Well, I'm glad we got that settled.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
I still think of that line daily. Yes, I mean this is obviously like this is heavy hitter. This is a heavy hitter 80s movie. Period. I mean,
stereotypical blockbuster.
it is a little bit rocky. It's actually probably a lot rocky. It's the Tom Cruise that is Tom Cruisiest.
Mhm.
It's the top grossing movie of 1986 that had a shit ton of other like big time grossing movies.
What did it make? Like half a billion? I mean,
Well, the budget was 15 million.
It made $357
that is
million.
insane that they made this movie for $15 million.
Yeah.
I agree. That is wild.
Well, it was Paramount paid as much as $7,800 per hour to use the jets for each jet.
How often? Okay, so that's just box office, right? So this movie has probably made
This movie's has made a
$350 million over the last 30 years.
Oh, sure.
Or whatever.
Well,
That's
I mean,
that's an adjusted figure for sure.
in 10 days back in May, AMC only AMC put Top Gun on 153 screens, and it made another $433,000 in 10 days.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean,
In the middle of a pandemic.
in the middle of the pandemic. Now that was in preparation for the reason why we picked this movie for this week.
Oh, yeah,
When
right.
we could have done, say, Silence of the Lambs or talked about Raiders of the Lost Ark twice, or talked about next movie twice.
What is the next movie, Jeff?
Well, I'm getting there. Hang on a second. Terminator 2.
Well, I thought you wanted help.
No. We're getting there. Terminator 2 is next week. More to say about that here in just a moment. But this movie was supposed to be released on November 19th of 2021. And they moved it to 2022. And I read an article that at first I thought, well, this is kind of a silly thing to tie it to, but I kind of agree with it. With everything that went on with us leaving Afghanistan, this maybe isn't a great time to have a movie that probably ends up with a little bit of rah-rah USA war action at the end. I don't know if that was part of the decision or if it was just kind of lucky that they pulled it out of November, because a lot of stuff is getting released now. Every week there's something that could be big. And I mean, because this movie moved up, I think, the Ghostbusters movie. So I also
think that maybe they thought that November just didn't work.
Maybe
it got pushed into November. November's a weird time for a movie like this.
This is a summertime movie.
This is a summertime movie. I totally agree. And this is not the kind of movie people want to go see like in the chilly cold, right?
No,
I also wonder too, though, given your point about maybe this being Rah Rah USA, I feel like this movie will try to undo some of that Rah Rah USA.
Possibly.
Stuff.
Oh,
it's very, very possible.
And be more of an anti-war movie than a.
Oh, very, very, very possible. However, the problem is that it's still Top Gun, and all the trailers have been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check out these jets.
They're still selling it that way.
Yeah,
100%.
I have a theory too that I want to unpack a little bit after we watch the movie, the sequel. But I have a feeling. I have this funky feeling in my bones that Joseph Kosinski, the director of the new Top Gun movie, is kind of like Tom Cruise's George P. Cosmatos.
Oh, maybe. I know what you're getting.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't want to say more about it now. Let's just let that hang, but we'll pick it up later, I think.
Okay. Well,
you'll have to explain it to me before that. But go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff.
This movie did win Best Original Song for "Take My Breath Away." However, Danger Zone is what I immediately think of when I hear the title Top Gun. Danger Zone is playing in my head.
1,000%.
But Take My Breath Away is the video I want to watch to see clips from this movie, if that makes sense.
Okay.
That's weird.
It's also like the Harold Faltermeyer, like down, down, down,
Oh, yeah.
down, down, right? Like he was famous for the Axel F, right? Same
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, I
That
thought
is
Herbie
iconic,
Hancock
too.
did that.
No, that's a misconception.
That's
Yep.
that's a little bit of Mandela effect.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Damn.
So,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, that's Harold Faltermeyer.
You're right. Now I remember getting like correcting myself every year for the past 50 years.
And he did the down, 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 all the synths and like the chings that come in and all that. Like it's good stuff. And then I love when it transitions into Danger Zone. It's like fuck all this synth, you know. Now we're flying jets.
Yeah.
Oh, Jason just went metal. So yeah, it's I mean it is because that music used to play at Kings Island at the Top Gun ride.
Yeah.
Like as you were
That
saying.
music used to play in my mind as I climbed hills.
Yeah.
Like
It is like on the level of Chariots of Fire. It really is like
yes,
on that
yes,
level.
Chariots of
100%.
Fire is
Yep.
what I hear when I go up the little half stairs up to the exit of my apartment building.
those are kind of like on equal footing for me as far as like I don't even know what you call it, just like climbing the ladder kind of music.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like
It's a
that epic
progressive
achievement.
scale.
It's also the Rocky music is in there,
Yeah.
like right? It's all like
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
So yeah, I think did we do it? Did we any last words about? Oh, let me check my.
I think I'm good. I think I got it all in there. Shit, I even got Axel F in there. That's amazing.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! Oh shit! Hang on a second. In that final scene at the very very end, when
Tim Robbins is in it.
yes, and they're all celebrating, and here are things that you hear in the background that as they are celebrating.
This should be good. This should be
One
good.
guy goes, "Yeah." Another guy goes, "Number one guy."
I heard that.
And yet a
I
third
heard
guy, yes. And yet a third guy says, "All right, yeah."
Number one guy.
Number one guy.
Oh my god.
All right, so I think that's I'm glad
That's a
Chuck,
great
that
way.
you heard it also because that's great.
Oh,
Yes, it cracked me up and I forgot it.
that's
Amazing.
Number one,
amazing.
guy.
Number one guy. That feels like it's like the Japanese version, right?
Yes. Godzilla was about to destroy the Enterprise like
Right,
a minute
it's like,
later.
number one guy.
Holy hell,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
amazing.
All right, so next week, as we said, this one's close, near and dear to old Jason Oliver's heart.
Show
Terminator
is
2 Judgment Day.
Yeah.
30
years old this year. That's worrisome.
listen to me awkwardly try to get the theme music into the episode.
Yeah, that's we're all looking forward to that, Jason. So that's pretty awesome. We've got a little bit of an interesting December, which we'll talk about that when we get there. But this is kind of closing out some of our movies that we definitely wanted to talk about with their anniversaries and stuff. This upcoming Monday, Monster Mondays, still doing the remakes of movies I've covered before. I'm
Nice.
doing Zontar, The Thing from Venus, which is not a great movie, but I still find three things I like. It's not nearly as good as the original Corman. It conquered the world, made very few years apart. It's kind of crazy how close those two versions were made. So that is this upcoming Monday. Both Film Seizure and Monster Mondays can be found by going to filmseizure.com. I should also say that this Friday I will have a Ghostbusters review for Film Seizure Film Seizure at the Movies, Ghostbusters Afterlife. So that's also going to come, all of that stuff, filmseizure.com, or you can go to podcast places like SoundCloud, Audible, Spotify, TuneIn, Apple
Stitcher.
Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. That's the one that I always forget almost. And then you can also follow us at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just search for Film Seizure. You'll find us. How about that? Now, for my B-movie enema business, this Friday, the article is, okay, so put another tick up for Mystery Science Theater. Werewolf, one of my favorite episodes of Mystery Science Theater ever, is now something I had to go out and find and buy. I'm not going to say it's a bootleg. I'm just going to say it's a DVD of this movie just so that I could cover it because the movie is bonkers. This weekend on B-Movie Enema, the series, my pick for the best movie that I covered this year for the season is Psych Out, starring Jack Nicholson and Susan Strasberg. Bruce Dern is in it. It's a trippy movie.
Jack Nicholson movie that's a B movie?
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
He did a lot of B movies.
He made a lot of them. I mean,
yeah, you're right.
His very first was was that his first?
No, but it was early. Yeah. So yeah, Psych Out. Unfortunately, that's not on YouTube because of the Strawberry Alarm Clock, who makes up half of the
They kiboshed you.
They kiboshed me, but you can still go to the website. You can also go to Vimeo and find it there. I think we did it, guys.
Don't tell the Strawberry Car Wash. Is that the name?
Yes. Don't tell the Strawberry Car Wash.
Or they'll get incense
alarm clock. Don't tell the Strawberry
Exactly.
Alarm Clock.
You're right.
You like that one, Jeff? That was a good one.
I liked it. I liked it, Chuck. Jason just put on the brakes and you flew right past it. Anyway, so all right. So until next week when we talk about Terminator 2, Judgment Day, I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm Eat a Bagel.
I'm Burninator. I knew Jeff was thinking about it and he wasn't sure, but we did it, Chuck. And you've been listening to Film Seizure.
You can be my wingman anytime, Jason.